Hi everyone, hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to part 4 of Helldivers 2 Thermite Grenade tutorial series. And in this video, we're going to be making this Helldivers 2 symbol / logo. And this is a file that I just quickly made in Affinity Designer. However, you can probably download that off the internet if you just do a Google search and bring that into Blender as a reference image. And then we'll use that as a traceable image, right? You notice my 3D cursor is up there, so I'm actually going to reset it back to the world origin by hitting Shift S, cursor to world origin. That puts it right down there, which is fine for now. And the next part is going to be importing that image as a reference image. Let's make that a little bit smaller. So to do that, I'm going to click Shift A, image, and select reference. Then navigate to the location where you saved the symbol or the image, and hit load reference image. And that will load it according to how your viewport is actually facing. So you can see there it's got rotation and, well, just rotation applied to it really. So I'm going to reset that. And if you hover over any of these, just press the backspace key and that will reset that back to 0. So let's go to the top view. Let's S for scale and bring that down. And of course we can't see it now, it's underneath. It's inside of our objects there. So before we continue, let's just make a few tweaks to this reference image. Let me just move it up so we can see that there. And now that you've loaded that, you now have this icon here on the right, which is the data properties for that reference image. So in here, you want to ideally tick opacity on, turn it on, and knock this down to whatever you like. Maybe turn up the opacity just a little bit. So pressing 7 on the numpad, go to the top view, and all we need to do now is effectively use that as our helper, and we're going to trace this shape, probably do half of it only, and assign a mirror modifier to it. Save us a little bit of work. At this point, I will recommend that if you haven't already seen it, check out my How to Bevel Like a Pro or Bevel Like a Pro video, which kind of explains how this works and why I'm doing the things that I'll do. So I'll just go through it and try and keep the explanation as low as I can so I don't make this video over an hour long again. But yeah, so let's go straight in. Right, there's our empty image. Here it is. Let's call that reference. I'm just going to pull that outside of the grenade collection. So there it is. And let's make that non-selectable. So I'm going to click this icon on here and just turn off the arrow, which is selectable. So now we can't select that. And let's do the same actually for, no, let's leave that on. I'm going to select the grenade collection so that, and now that we've done that, anything we add will be added to the grenade collection by default. So we can do this several ways, and as always, I always say that, but I genuinely mean it. We could add a plane and then manipulate the plane, add some subdivisions, and then pull the vertices around to make that shape. We can start with a single vertex as well, and again just make that shape by extruding the single vertex. I think I will actually start with a single vertex in this case, and before I do that though, I want my 3D cursor to be at the location of this. I'm trying to select it but I can't, on this reference image, so I'm going to actually make it selectable. Select it and do Shift S, cursor to selected. That will put it right there. Right, top view, 7 on the numpad. Let's go Shift A and mesh, single vert, add single vert. And before I click that, if you don't see that, you may need to enable the built-in extra objects for the mesh. You might as well turn on curves as well while you're there, why not? So this enables you to get additional mesh objects over and above the default installation of Blender. It's built in, just go into add-ons and enable it. Make sure you save as well. So with that, Shift A and mesh, single vert, add single vert. Now, something happens here that's very different to when you normally add an object in Blender, and you'll notice we're now immediately in edit mode. That doesn't normally happen if you add any other kind of geometry. But that's fair enough because we want to edit this, we have to edit it, right? We can't do anything with a single vertex. So Staying in the top view, we're in edit mode and we've got the vertex selection enabled. We've got that selected now. So if I press G, you can see I can move it around freely. Just going to right click and zoom in a bit more. So I'm going to turn on use the transform gizmo there. And I want to click on the blue one just to make sure I don't go in and out depth wise. I'm just going to move that. In fact, undo that. Let's move it straight up to this point there. Okay. And we're going to press E to extrude and drop it there. Just repeat that process. Now this one, the last one here, needs to be aligned with the top one, okay? Simply because we're going to add a mirror modifier. Again, as always, there's ways more than one way to do that. You can use snapping to vertices, vertex there, or you can use the, in this menu here on the side, pressing the N key, we've got the vertex position here. So on the x-axis, that should be 0. So we could just type 0 there, like that. And that should be the same for this one here, which it is. So with that done, we're going to press E to extrude. And this time we want to move it in the Y axis only. So I'm going to press Y and move that up to there. And then press E to extrude. And quickly make this nose area. Again, this needs to be right in the center. So we're going to click here just to make sure that it is 0. Like that. Press E to extrude, Y, and move it somewhere up there. Now I can select this one lastly, press M, merge at last. And now we have a closed loop of edges, like that. Like so. If I just hide that, you can see that's what we've got there. Rightio, that's good. There's one thing missing, of course, and that's the eye socket. So we're going to add a circle there. So I'm just going to bring back my side panel or my toolkit there. Do Shift A, by the way, if you're not using the toolkit. I'm just going to use it anyway. I'm going to click circle. That will add it, of course, at the 3D cursor. And vertex count wise, I'm going to go with 16. And radius, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to do it here, you can do it after the fact. Remember, we're still in edit mode. I'm not adding this as a separate object. This is actually part of the original single vertex that we added. So with that, I'm going to move it roughly to the center of the socket there, the eye socket, and press S for scale. Let's just zoom in and press G to grab. And that will do. And maybe a little bit smaller, like that. Right, with that done, we can hide our reference image. We don't need that anymore. And don't forget to turn off the rendering as well. This icon here, the camera one, just basically means you're going to render it if you try render. So turn that off. And let's turn off that as well and make it unselectable as well, just in case. And we're not going to worry about adding a mirror modifier just now. We don't need that. So I'm just going to add some faces, some geometry to this. So I'm going to isolate this object. Because it's hard to see there, like so. Do that with the /? key, and I'll isolate that into the viewport. And, oops, just knocked the microphone. Yay. Okay, so let's tab into edit mode. And this time I'm going to leave it on edge select actually. And we can start to fill this manually. So let's start off by maybe filling it there. So selecting these 2 edges there, press F to fill. And maybe select this one and this one. F to fill. This one and this one. You can see where I'm going with this. And let's select these as well. Just there and press F to fill. And if you have the F2 add-on installed as well, that's part of Blender, search for F2. And that gives you, in fact I haven't enabled it there myself, that gives you extra make edge face functionality just by pressing the F key. Okay, so if I select the one edge, for example, this one here, I can press F and that will automatically create a quad or a triangle automatically. What happens if I press F here? Yeah, that happens, which is not good. So I'm going to undo that. So let's think about how we're going to fill the rest of this in now. I mean, we can clearly add a face there and a face there. And we'll add one just here as well. Just press F and then F. Same there. That doesn't work because we have an end on. So let's start off by selecting these two, F, these two, F, and then just F there. There we go. Let's do the same here. Yeah, in fact, no, what we're going to do, we're going to use these edges. I'm going to extrude these by pressing E and just bring them out somewhere like that. Then I can switch to vertex mode, one on the keyboard numbers. Select this one and that one and do M, merge at last. Just connect those together. Maybe we can space these out a little bit nicer now. Like that. So now we have those, and you can see that's actually extruded them out at an angle. That's not good. So, whoops. So we need to make sure these are actually in line with everything else. So I'm going to select those two first. And to make sure these are actually flat themselves, I'm going to press S for scale, Z, 0, and enter, just to make sure they're flat. And now I'm going to switch to the move tool, turn on snap in, which is set to a vertex. Click on the blue one, up and down, hold down, well, not hold down control, you don't need to, because we have snapping enabled, and just move over one of these vertices there. And now that's nice and flat. Turn vertex snapping off. And let's continue filling this part here now. If you want to, you can also do like select an edge, right click and do subdivide. If you want to add another vertex just inside this length here. And the reason for that, you may want to, for example, add a face like this. So you have a quad there. You may have noticed that I'm adding triangles, but that's not a problem because this surface here will stay flat. So it's not going to have any problems when I subdivide it. I'll show you why that is later on as we move along. So let's do that here as well. Let's add some faces there. And then just do a triangle there, I guess. Nope, actually we'll do a triangle there. And then we'll fill this here, like so. So now we have our filled area, which is great. Now, let me just save that. Now the next step, let's add a mirror modifier. Again, I'm just going to use my my add-on there, BB TOOLKIT Pro or free. Check it out, link in the description. So I'm going to select mirror object, and then we want to mirror on the x-axis, not the z. Clipping turned on and click add. And of course that will add a simple mirror modifier in a modifier stack just there. So that's good. Now if you select this object, tab into edit mode and select all of the faces by pressing A. I'm going to press I for inset. And you can see we have a lovely inset happening there. If I click here, what I don't want to happen though is I don't want these to be here. I want these insets to be all over here, but not on this edge here where the mirror modifier is working. So to do that, I'm just going to press undo first. And undo again just to make sure nothing's wrong. Press A to select everything and I to inset. And before you click anything, just press the B key, B for boundary. And that is not actually working for us. Let me just confirm that. Turn this up and down, nothing happens. If I turn on boundary, that does work, but it doesn't really clip it to this. Probably because of this hole there. So that's not going to work. That's fine, we'll just leave that as is. So just give it a nice inset. So to explain why I'm doing that is because, as I said earlier, we have triangles in various places along this geometry here. And if you were to subdivide this without insetting this first, it would make a pretty bad mess. And it won't look very nice. So by creating like an island within the flat area, that will get rid of, without, you have no issues whatsoever. Like I say, check out my Bevel Like a Pro video to see why that. Oh, sorry, not Bevel Like a Pro. It's make cutouts like a pro, and it will explain why and how that works. So what we need to do is basically delete this face here and this face here now. Let's delete those and bring these edges or these vertices in line with the center. So I'm going to go to the top view, and because we have the mirror modifier and clipping turned on, if I move that anywhere in this axis, this direction, it's going to, you know, snap in the middle there. That's a great way of actually making sure we don't overshoot. So I'm going to bring that down about there to make this consistent as much as it's not really critical, it's perfect, but that's fine. I'm going to do the same here. So I'm going to move that like this and bring it up a touch like that. Let's do the same here. And finally, one at the bottom. Awesome. If we tab out of edit mode, we have this lovely symbol. We turn on wireframe so we can see that. Again, if you don't have the add-on, simply come up to the top here and enable wireframe. That looks really good. That's step one. Now, the next process is very much about mirroring this in the vertical axis as well, on the Z axis. But we can't do that yet, because if we do that, if we turn on the Z as well, you'll notice nothing's really happened. And that's because, you can probably guess why, the origin point of the object is on the same plane as the faces. So it's going to mirror on that point, which is not what we want. So if we tab into edit mode, select everything by pressing the A key and then moving these up. Oops, why is that not working? Let's turn off clipping. Move these up. The origin point will obviously stay in place because we're in edit mode, and the mirror modifier is now, it's obviously working before, but you can now see the effect of that mirror modifier. So move these up as far as you want to, and that defines the height of your head symbol, basically. I think we'll leave it something like that. Maybe a little bit lower. That'll do. Awesome. So all we need to do now is fill in these gaps that we've got in the eye sockets, the nose, and the outer perimeter. That's, again, that's fairly straightforward because we have the mirror modifier. And we have the clipping as well, and the merge and all that stuff, all that good stuff going on. So I'm going to alt click and select that edge there. Press E to extrude, and then press Z to restrict it on the Z axis. And then just move my mouse down, and that will snap to the center because of the clipping. So that's now done. So we can continue to do that for the nose piece here. Alt click, E to extrude, Z, and move it down. That was magic and very quick. So now we have this low polygonal geometry for our sculpt. Not our sculpt, what am I saying? What am I saying? What am I even saying? I'm going to make a backup of that before we continue. Always a good idea. So Shift D, duplicate it, right click, leave it there. I'm going to drag it into my backups collection there. So the next step is to refine the shape. Simply because if I were to go and add a subdivision modifier like this and turn it up to 2 levels, one may be enough actually, but let's put 2 for now. And I'll do shade smooth as well. That looks pretty bad. Very bad. I'll give you 3 guesses as to why it might look like this. Any ideas? Well, the usual culprits you should think about are, dare I say it, face normals, unwelded or overlapping vertices that share the same space. Is there another option? Yeah, I mean, there could be, you know, duplicate faces and all that kind of stuff, edges, but I suspect this is because of face normals. So to check that, would you believe that I've got a face orientation link in my little add-on there? So if I'm going to click that, we've got red, and red is not good for face normals. So even though this might render okay, if you just render it, it might do, it might not actually. It probably won't. You don't want to leave it like that, all right? So we need to fix these and do that by tapping into edit mode, switch to face select, press A to select everything, and would you believe it, I've got recalculate normals here on my add-on. If you do not have this, no worries, select everything, press N, not N, Alt N, and Alt N and recalculate outside. And that will effectively do the same thing as pressing that. So then we have blue everywhere, that's really good. Let's turn face orientation off. And you can see now everything is working as expected, which is rather nice. And the next step is to add some more support loops, because we really want to keep these hard corners, these sharp corners on the nostril area and the outside shape. So let's do that. And to do that, it's probably best if you turn off the subdivision modifier. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to switch to edge select, and we're going to select all of these inner and outer sharp edges. Ideally you want to do that one as well, but we can't because we have a mirror modifier, so we'll leave that till last. Let's just continue selecting these, and I'm only selecting the top one and the one on the side. So just go around your shape and do that. And that's pretty much it. And let's not forget the nostril area as well. Oops, not that one. So just those four there. And let's just make sure we have all of those inner and outer pointy ones selected. And I think we do. So with that done, you can press Ctrl B to bevel. I'm going to give it 2 segments. And just give it any size really at this point, and we'll tweak the operator panel settings there. Top tip, always, if you're using a subdivision modifier, it really helps to change the shape to 1, not leave it at 0.5. And that will just put support loops either side of the edges we had selected. Segments 2, and after that it's a case of how big do you want your bevel. So I'm going to go with something like that. And there we go. So that's fine, but it's still a bit messy because we have this edge selected here. It's also beveled along here. It bled into this area. So we want to clean this up now, and that's very easy to do. Select this vertex and then maybe the last one there, and press M for merge at last. Now we have n-gons. You can see here we have a very large n-gon there, but before we address that, let's finish off merging these vertices. So let's select that one and put that one, sorry, let's put that one there. So M, merge at last, this one here, like so. Let's just quickly do these as well. And this one's a bit tricky because it cuts across the path of this. So let me go and let me select this edge and Control Delete to dissolve that. You can see Blender's automatically reverted those edges to there. So I'm going to switch to vertex mode and make a cut just there by pressing J, like that. This one I'm going to merge just in here at last. Likewise with these. In fact, we can do that one there. And this one over here, like that. And let's get rid of this edge here. Select it, press delete, and then dissolve edges. Let's continue. Let's get rid of this edge and delete, dissolve edge. And that again reroutes it, reroutes. Oh, that's not right. Let's just join those there. A little bit more to do there. So let's do maybe there. No, let's put it there. Let's see how we go. Let's take this one and dissolve it. Let's just leave that there for now. We've got one more over here. Let's dissolve this edge. So delete, dissolve edges, and this one here. and you're left with that. I'm also going to dissolve this one actually. Now we can make our own cuts. I'm going to use the knife tool for that. So I press K for the knife tool and snap to, it will snap automatically. Let's select this vertex and click onto this one here. Right click to make other cuts elsewhere. So I'm going to select a cut from here to here. Right click and then enter to confirm. Let's do the same here. Let me just space that out. Press GG to slide it in the middle. Back to the knife tool with K. Make some cuts like that. And I'll just go around and make some quick cuts like so. I'm not really liking this edge here. So I'm going to dissolve that and actually make another cut. Like so. And that will do. Anywhere else? Yeah, we've got some just here. Press K. Oops. That was odd. Let's press K and make a cut there. And here, press enter. And let's make a cut here as well. We may as well whilst we're here. And finally, around here as well. Press K. Maybe we can cut this one right across to there. And this one, I'm going to cut right across to there as well. The reason I'm cutting this part, we don't need to, is because I don't want this to be a triangle on this side. But in theory anyway, let's see how that goes. But it shouldn't matter. As I say, it's on a flat edge, a flat surface, so no worries, it should be fine. Let's just double check we haven't missed anything. I think we're good. Yep, let's turn on, back to object mode. Let's turn on our subdivision modifier. So you can see that's nice and sharp now. No glitches that I can see there. And the only issue we have now is, as I said, because of the mirror modifier, we can't bevel these edges here down the middle. So we need to apply the mirror modifier and do the same thing for those ones there. So in object mode, let's apply the mirror modifier. I may just do this actually for half the object like this, and then just mirror it afterwards. So let's do apply. Tab into edit mode, edge mode, select those again. Turn off subdiv. And the ones at the top as well, like that. So all the ones down the middle, like so. And we're going to do Control B and give them an approximate size, something like that. And switch to vertex mode. And now we can do some tidying up again. So take this one and that one, merge at last. That worked out very well there. K for knife. Let's make a cut there actually. And then press enter. And in fact, we can actually get rid of, no, let's leave it. It's going to make a quad, but it doesn't really matter. And let's tidy up these guys as well. Let's select all of those and put it there. No, actually put these ones there. Now we can select these three and then that one and merge at last. And finally, we've got quite a few up here. Whoops. Let's select all of these and that one. There we go. Let's double check one more time. I think we're good. If I turn on our subdivision modifier now, we've retained those lovely sharp edges along all of the outer and inner shapes. It looks a little bit dodgy there, maybe. Yeah, and that's probably because I actually made the inset a little bit too large. So these edges here, this edge loop I should say, is a little bit too far out. So if I press GG, will that actually slide in? It does. Okay, so let's bring that in. Something like that. You can see that's a bit tighter now. That's nicer. I might just quickly do that for all of these actually. And let's select those. Oops, there's a bit at the top and bottom actually we've missed there. Yeah. Like that. You can see in wireframe mode, you can see that quite clearly now. And I'm going to press GG to slide that. So GG, bring that out. Something like that. Great, that's good. And finally, we do have a support loop at the top, of course, as you just saw. I forgot to do the eye sockets, haven't I? Let's just do that. Ta-da-da! And ta-da! Oh, can I do both at the same time, actually? GG. I can. Thank you, Blender. Very kind. So, as I was saying, we have edge loops, supporting edge loops on the inside, on the top, but we don't have any on the sides. So let's turn off our subdiv modifier. And all we need to do is add some control loops, sorry, some loop cuts with Control R. So I'm going to do Control R. Oops, not Shift R, Control R. Just leave it in the middle for now. Everywhere you need to add one. So on the outer and inner areas, then select all of those edge loops we just made. Select the move tool, and you want to bring them up nearer to the top, basically. You can hold down the Shift key for finer control. Then I will do, let's turn on, you can see immediately how much sharper that looks now. Really nice, clean shape. Let's add a mirror modifier, but this time on the Z. And let's click Add. Let's check our face normals. That's looking good. Check our wireframe. That's looking bad. But that's okay. That's fine. You can do this in a much more optimized way, but I'm just doing this quickly. So you do what you need to do. Maybe make it all out of quads, that kind of stuff. You're more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to move the mirror modifier just to the top there. Let's bring back our rest of our model by coming out of isolation mode. You can see it's sitting a bit proud of the top there. So let's select it, switch to front view, one on the numpad, and I'm going to bring that down somewhere like that. Now I'm just going to check to see if I'm happy with the depth of that. I feel like it's a little bit too thin, so I'm going to move it up a bit more. Switch to front view, tab into edit mode, vertices, A to select all, and just bring them up. Make that a little bit chunky, like so. Nice, and let's bring that into position now. So let's zoom in here and bring that down like so. And as always, if you want to snap it, make sure you have vertices selected there, closest option turned on, and then click on the blue arrow, hold down Control key and move your mouse pointer. Do that again because it seems to have frozen up there. There we go. I'll just check here that it's actually, yeah, that's fine. Great. So that is now done. I'm going to finally check we have we don't have any non-uniform scale, that kind of weird stuff going on. So there you have it, folks. We've got a lovely game symbol there. And in the next video, we're going to take the step of actually adding materials to this. So strap yourselves in. That's going to be an interesting ride. We're going to try using Blender's native material shading, of course, but also might have a look at Blender Kit as well to help us out with some basic materials we can then adapt and use for our lovely shape here. Right, I'll shut up now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please do subscribe and hit that like button. It really does help to get the videos out there. Right, for now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.